IoT. IoT. Okay. IoT is a great thing and it's a bad thing. All right? It's got its pros, it's got its cons. Now, for all of you that have heard this term before, but you're really not 100% sure what it represents. All right? Internet of Things is a term that they use now for devices that in the past did not have internet access. But now these devices can be put on the internet. Now, because they can be put on the internet, they can be managed, they can be maintained, they can be accessed through the internet. Internet of Things kind of is a broad term because it more or less represents any type of device that has internet access, but it's not really the normal types of devices that we think about. Now, some of them are, but for example, Internet of Things could be on a router. Now, most routers have internet access anyway. But IoT allows you to possibly maybe manage or manipulate that router without being sitting right next to it. So that could be an example of something that's now got IoT that it didn't have before. Yes, it had the ability to send you to the internet, but the device itself really didn't work with the internet. Didn't talk to the internet, didn't communicate with the internet. It just passes traffic to the internet. So that is kind of an example of an IoT. But the easier way to understand this is to really think about non-computer things. That's where IoT really has become popular. So I'll give you a couple examples. You see the commercials all the time for refrigerators that are internet connected. You can literally type in what you need on your shopping list, maybe send it to Walmart, have them automatically get everything for you. You stop, you pay, you just pick your groceries up and go home. Internet of Things. Ovens. All right, I saw an oven recently where it's got like a tablet built into the oven. And you can look up recipes and stuff, and it's literally the recipe is right on the oven in the little window. IoT. I recently bought a washing machine, a Maytag. It's IoT. Now, at first, it was like, wow, this is kind of cool. The washing machine sends me messages. And then after about a week, I turned it off. I was like, I really don't need my washing machine to send me an email, excuse me, every time the laundry's done. So, at first, it was just kind of cool. We can see what's going on. We can see exactly where the wash cycle is. All because now we can monitor it through the internet. But we ended up, even my wife, we ended up turning it off because it became more of an annoyance than a... So when most people think of IoT, that's the kind of stuff where it falls under that blanket. All right? It's normally devices that never had internet access before, but they do today. Because you can control it now through the internet. Now, a lot of the popular things on IoT, a lot of the popular things, you see like the light bulbs, where you can literally turn on everything in your house by using IoT light bulbs. So as I approach my house, I can go into my software and tell it to turn all the lights on in the house. Or maybe we're going to be away tonight, so we really didn't plan on it, so let's turn the lights on so people think we're home. Okay, that's all cool. All right? I mean, listen, it is cool. I mean, I'm not... But really, you got to remember, and this is where people don't understand. Every component that's connected to the internet is just another component that can be hacked. That's it. It's just another hackable device. So really, IoT is awesome, but you got to ask yourself on some of these things. Now, I'm not talking about all devices, because there's a lot of computer equipment that didn't have internet access before that now does because of IoT. So I'm not saying that it's all bad, but how crazy do you got to go with IoT? Because everything you put on can be hacked. You know, I'll give you a kind of an example of, we have in my house, now don't ask me why, but I mean, I have an alarm system in my house. Now, just so you know, I live on top of a mountain in New Hampshire, in a log cabin. That's where I'm in, that cabin right now teaching this class. I am on top of a mountain. I can't even see one of my neighbors. There's no crime around us. I can't even remember last time, all right, there was crime in our area. I don't know if there's ever even been a house robbed since I've been here for 21 years. All right. There was one murder around the corner, but it was drug related. It was a drug related murder. But other than that, so ADT contacted me and said, hey, would you like us to come out and put in a brand new device so that you can control the device even when you're away from home? And I actually thought to myself, why in the world would I want to put my alarm system on the internet? I mean, out of all the things that I'm possibly going to put on the internet, why would I put my alarm system on the internet? Again, anything that's on the internet can be attacked. I mean, are we getting that lazy in our lives that we have to come in and tell the house, turn the lights on, instead of just turning the lights on? I mean, really? So, yes, it's got its place. There are equipment out there, especially network equipment that we couldn't contact previously, that now has IoT, and it's great. But because of IoT technology, every industry has actually kind of gone crazy with it, and pretty much any appliance you even buy today is IoT. Don't spend the money. It really is a waste. All right? I could have bought a Maytag washer for probably $300 less if it didn't have IoT. And honestly, we don't even use it. It's a waste of money. Now, when it comes to certain networking equipment, IoT can be great. I'll give you a real-world example. I was working for a company at a time where we installed a brand new camera system. At the time, this particular camera system did not have internet access. They ended up putting out a centralized device for the camera system that was now IoT enabled. So we could not remotely connect to the camera system in the past. The newest version was IoT. So that was actually good for us. Because one of the things that we did as a wireless company is we built cell towers. And they would put cameras around the cell towers to make sure nobody was, some of that stuff on a cell tower is very expensive. I mean, if you're dirt poor and you can steal stuff off of a cell tower, a lot of that stuff, the cabling, is very, very expensive. You get a lot of money for that. So a lot of providers had us put camera systems around so that they can monitor, and if somebody did do it, they could hopefully catch the person who stole it. When we were first doing that, the camera systems were not IoT. So somebody every once in a while, if somebody wasn't already out at the tower every once in a while, somebody would have to go out there and look at the cameras just to make sure that we weren't having any issues, that people weren't trying to climb the fences, whatever. But with IoT, I can now sit in my office, pull up every single cell site that we're responsible for, look at the camera, make sure that everything's still there, everything's working properly, and I don't have to drive out to all these locations. Awesome technology. So there are times where, yes, this kind of stuff can be very, very valuable to us in IT. But there's also a point where you got to think to yourself, maybe there's a reason why this stuff was never on the internet to begin with. So, maybe there's a reason why you don't want your router or your firewall to be able to communicate outside of the company through the internet. So, all right. There's definitely benefits, but there's also a lot of drawbacks. Because every single thing you add to the internet is just another thing that can be hacked. And let me tell you something. There are dozens and dozens of attacks. A lot of them we haven't even started talking about yet. But there are dozens and dozens of attacks out there that literally specifically go after IoT devices. And there's a lot on here we haven't talked about yet because we just haven't gotten to them. But we're going to go through every one of these types of attacks. Okay? All right. So you know what? It's 2 o'clock. Perfect timing. Let's go ahead and take a break. Now listen, as a reminder to everyone, just in case you didn't make yesterday or been just popping in and out, don't forget, today we are going to 4, not 3. Because yesterday, remember, we had to cut the class an hour short. So today we're going to make up that hour. So we're going to be going to 4 o'clock today. So don't forget that. Okay? We're going to be spending an extra hour. So, all right. So get up, stretch your legs, move around, get that blood going. And when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about different types of attacks. All right? Have a great break, everybody, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. I don't know why I just switched slides like that. I meant to do this.